Hi everyone, today I'm talking about the paper Deja Vu, Multilingual LLM Evaluations through the lens of machine translation evaluation. The problem with current multilingual LLM evaluations is that they are very noisy. For example, lots of data are generated via translation with synthetic data. They do not use enough sample sizes, and there are divergences in benchmark adoption and reporting. They also use generative model as metric most of the time, which itself the generative model, and that's problematic. And also, the evaluation with the rapid moving target lacks a standardization. So there are needs for standards like machine translation tasks with unified in power, effective sizes, language task granularity, and transparency. The key idea and contribution of this paper is that they import a standardized and mature practice from machine translation evaluation. They also run experiments across the whole evaluation pipeline, testing for effect on data, statistics, aggregation, analysis, and transparency, and they also provide an actionable checklist and artifacts to improve reliability and reproducibility. So just to briefly go over the experiment setup, they are comparing native versus translated prompts across several languages and various translators. They also evaluate the model pair with different LM judges, confidence intervals, effective sizes of dataset, and sample size sensitivity. They also test different aggregation choices with different languages tasks and simple slices. The first finding is that we see that translated prompts can really flip the win rates and bias depending on the language translators. From the figure below on the left, we see that a lot of different translators and languages can shift the win rates after a single cycle of translations. And we also see some non-minimal changes in the win rate with different data sets with just cycle translations. So the recommendation is that for evaluation, we prefer targeted language prompts of the language over translated alternatives. Second is that many datasets are underpowered. They do not have enough sample sizes. Sample size really matters. Just thus, reporting uncertainty and ensuring enough sample size is important, as with a large enough sample size, even some small differences are statistically significant. The recommendations here is to test the statistical significance of evaluation results rather than relying on metric differences alone. There are more findings. So the third finding is that aggregation can really change the result. As we can see from the table below that with different aggregations on languages, we have some quite different rankings across different evaluation benchmarks for several models. And we see that languages with some aggregation, the task views expose consistent strengths and weaknesses are washed out. And the fourth finding is that chart choice, prompt wording, and order really affect the model results. The recommendation here is to consider aggregation by language seen by model in the questions. And we use complement automatic matrix analysis with qualitative analysis to see if there's any bias on the judges, and use standardized pipelines, publish exact prompt and release evaluation code as some difference in the prompt wording and order are enough to affect the results. So what does a good evaluation pipeline looks like? The author says that a good evaluation should have more metrics beyond just one fits all. There are also need for nuanced human evaluations, use richer assessment to see if there's any bias in the judges, and to always publish per language task results with slices and release everything for reproducibility. The author also calls for a meta-evaluation, which evaluating the evaluators with different judges plus human studies. So here is the checklist released from the author on different things on evaluation prompt, choice of metrics, statistical testing, aggregation results across languages, qualitative insights, reproducibility, and also use meta-evaluation. With this checklist, we should be able to have a good evaluation pipeline on multilingual large LLMs. So in conclusion, treat multilingual evaluation as measurement science. With machine learning, with machine translation style practice and the paper's checklist, we can make evaluations more reliable, comparable, and actually useful for model development. Thank you.